Everyone, welcome to a World of Warships Blitz video. Today's video is not a battle replay. I haven't been playing enough games to get enough battle replays, and I'm not really I've had the experiment in trying to showcase other people's battle replays, but that's just not my thing. Well, stuff going on. There is a sonar sweep for the Exeter. Well, considering it's a sonar sweep, if you're playing the game, I definitely recommend getting the Exeter, just because, well, it's a free ship, and worst case, it's a port slot. The Exeter is, I'd probably describe it best as an average ship. But anyway, a sonar sweep event usually means it's very low cost or very low effort to get compared to other events, so I'd definitely go with that. So today's video is a little bit about possibly just a little bit of an update on where I'm at, and I haven't been playing mainly because I haven't been particularly enthused, and it's me, it's not the game, about the British heavy cruisers. So normally when a line comes out, I at least try and get it to tier 8. So for all the sort of the classic lines, I have them out to tier 8. I have some of them I've bought the tier 9, some I have rage sold, like the Baltimore there, like that's my only tier 9 oversold, but there'll probably be more to follow. But yeah, I generally get stuff out to tier 8. I've been pretty consistent about it, but there are a couple of lines that just haven't enthused. So I think the last line that I got out to tier 8 was the Italian cruiser line. No, maybe not the Italian cruiser. Well, I got it up to tier 9. I think the latest line out that I got to tier 8 successfully was the British destroyers, which I got up to tier 8 pretty quickly. Got to tier 9, free XP past the Jutland to get to the Daring. But the latest two lines are just not my thing. No, that's okay, not that. Which are the British heavy cruiser line. I really don't understand its place in the game. So what I mean by that is most things have a place in the game. It may mean that when you join a battle, that battle is not for you. So a good example of that is British light cruisers have a place in the game. They are excellent cruiser scouts. They are excellent destroyer hunters. And if you end up in a game with all battleships and an aircraft carrier on the other team, that ship really has very little to do. Or, well, it has a lot to do, but it just can't do it very well. Whereas with the British heavy cruiser line, I cannot find a place for that line that I have played so far. The other one I've been struggling with that I haven't really enjoyed so much has been the battleship line for the Russians. I've got the Sinope. I've got 21k in towards 148k of XP required to get to Vladivostok. I've heard the Vladivostok's good, but I have a lot of tier 8 battleships, and I'm not really interested in getting to tier 10. So probably at that point, I've stepped back a little bit. And the other one that I am having a little bit of a look at, but probably won't get much past tier 6 maybe, is the Pan-European destroyer line. Again, it's just not a line that historically excites like like some of the other lines. For example, the German cruiser line has some, famous. Well, it has the Admiral Hipper. It has some famous ships in it. The German battleship line, which although isn't great meta for the game, has the Bismarck, the Gneisenau, the Bayern. It has some pretty, some pretty historical value to it. So it's nice to get through that line. I'm sure that these are all wonderful historical ships, but they just don't sort of pick my fancy. So what it means is that I've been spending a lot of time playing other games, which means I've been spending a lot of time doing different things. And what I mean by different things is trying to understand, what sprites are good. These ships are just sprites. And what sprites aren't good in the other games that I play. And we won't go into the details of what they are because I don't think anybody is particularly interested. And one of the things that I do get, and I do check in on my channel every now and again to check the comments, is I get a lot of questions about what ships are good and what ships are not good. So I'm going to have to say that when determining whether or not a ship is good or not good, I think let's change it around a little bit. This is a very different game from a lot of other games out there. Let us take a ship that you may struggle with, but I think is good, right? So this is the Leander. So when you get to Leander, is Leander good or not good? The first question that you actually need to ask is, do I care if it's good or not? And what I mean by that is the Leander is on the way to the Minotaur. The Fuso Is the Fuso any good? The Fuso felt pretty rough after the Congo, I can tell you, although the Fuso is actually not that bad once you get used to it. I like the Amagi. A lot of people hate the Amagi. The Izumo is pretty much universally panned. There are one or two people that got good in it. That's fantastic for them. We'll get onto that in a second. But the Izumo is on the way to the Yamato. So the first question you have to ask yourself is, do I care if it's good or not? Okay. Is it on the way to something that I really want to get? And you probably don't know whether or not you really want to get any of these ships. But if you look at any YouTube videos, if you start following some YouTube videos, if you follow the World of Warships Blitz posts on Reddit, you'll find that generally there are some ships that are generally accepted as very good, like the Republic for the French ships. There are ships which are generally viewed as, some people find them very good. The Harugumo is a good one. Jaegeru, I think, is the YouTuber who is excellent in the Harugumo. He will absolutely smash anything else out there when he's in the ship because he knows it very well. So it's situationally good. If you like the ship, you will love the ship and you will do well in it. And then you get ships that, are universally viewed as pretty ordinary. So the Grosser Kurfürst is probably the best example of that, where the ship just doesn't fit the meta. However good the ship stats may be, it has been designed for a different game, it seems. If you get the Grosser Kurfürst at tier 10, either you love the line, in which case you don't care, or you may find that you would have wished you'd spent that time getting something else to tier 10. So is a ship good? First question to ask yourself is, do I care? If you have some lines that you're driving towards, do have a look on YouTube for what end lines are valuable. And unfortunately, you won't find that on my channel because I tend to see my tier 8 as the top tier for me. I have a few 9s where I just sort of get into it, but for example, the Z46, and I went straight to the Hindenburg past the Rune because I had enough free XP. But generally, I'm a tier 8 player. So for me, the destination ship is the tier 8 ship. So that's the first question to ask. Of course, that doesn't apply to premiums. Okay, the second question is, does it suit my playing style? Right. Now, this is important. So there is a YouTuber out there called Terry who will swear black and blue that this is the best tier 6 cruiser in the game. I will swear black and blue that for me, this is the best tier 6 cruiser in the game, although the Perth is starting to get in there. The reason is that fits our playing style, right? So I would rather, and let's pick the Fiji, I would rather go into an all battleship battle with the Fiji, which is designed for destroying destroyers. Believe it or not, I would rather go in with the Fiji than I would with the New Orleans. And the New Orleans is a better, more general purpose ship. And the reason for that isn't because the Fiji has torpedoes. It has pathetic torpedoes, I tell you. The reason is that I just know how to use the ship. So if there's only battleships on the opposing team, on our team, and only battleships or cruisers on the opposing team, if there's a destroyer, I'm still a destroyer hunter. That destroyer needs to go as a priority. So, that gives me a purpose in the game. If there's only cruisers or battleships on the enemy team and I'm in a Fiji, well, I become the destroyer because my concealment is definitely the best in the game. So, I like playing the ship. So it suits my style. The Cleveland is an excellent ship, does not suit my style. I just cannot stand waiting for those shells to take their long journey through the air to land on the enemy. The Benson is an excellent ship. When I first got it, I could understand why people liked it, and it is a lovely ship to play, but it's not my style. Generally, my style is more, you can't see it here, Le Terrible, which is the tier 8 French destroyer, or something like the Loyang, which for me is, it's just more my style. I like either real fast stuff or real stealthy stuff when it comes to destroyers, or the Akizuki, which is just absolutely a blast. The Akizuki is just incredible fun. Probably the fastest I've ever got through a tier 8 ship is the Akizuki. So so the first question you ask is, do I care? Is it on the way to something that I want? The second question you'd ask is, does it suit my style? And the third question I'd ask is it going to be something that I play a lot of? So just winning battles isn't good from my perspective. You're generally trying to play to achieve, let me go and find them if I can remember where they are. Not those, not those, those. So generally when you have a ship, if you've got a lot of ships like me, what you're doing is you're mucking around trying to win these things so that you can get yourself these lovely crates, which is probably going to take me until 2022 to get that one at this rate. So, for example, starting fires, the Nelson. If I have got to get flooding underway, it's the Minakaze or Japanese destroyer. So what I'm generally doing is I'm cycling through the different ships in order to achieve the achieve these missions. Although I will say, if there's ever a hit something with a whole lot of bombs mission, what I will do at that point is I'll use that opportunity to swap that mission out. I'll go basically replace. I'll go do all the other missions and keep replacing it until it comes up with something that doesn't put me in an aircraft carrier. So is it good? And there are a few ships that are good. And this is where, when you're looking at premiums, is it good at earning silver? That's the Nelson or the Roma, just by sheer fact of the fact that it's very good. Those are the sorts of ships, but that's really if you're a premium player, you're wanting to spend a bit of money and you're wanting to, sort of get that increased capability to knock over those missions. But even then, it is very situational. For example, I'd prefer the Nelson over the Scharnhorst. Well, actually, most people would. But let's go and find some premiums that let's go premium hunting, shall we? So, for example, I'd probably go the Sims over the Atlanta, although the Atlanta is a very popular ship. It's a lot of fun to play. I'd probably do the Hood over the Scharnhorst, just because I'm better at playing the Hood. Leningrad I wouldn't touch. The Abruzzi here, the Italian cruiser is very, these are very good ships. So maybe this isn't helping really, but let's go back a few tiers, because that's probably where we get the here we go. So Kamikaze, excellent ship. So let's just run through these. Marblehead is just the worst. Is it Omaha? The Kamikaze is a better Minakaze. The Exeter is just, well, it's in the Sonar Sweep. I am recommending that you get it, but it's pretty lackluster. Agincourt is fantastic. It's fantastic with all those guns. The Okhotnik is a lot of fun, but basically is actually a pretty terrible ship. The Krasny Krim is actually a pretty terrible ship, but I have a really good win rate in the Krasny Krim. So this is where things start to diverge a little bit, because my playing style with the Krasny Krim, it forces me to be a bit conservative, and I actually do very, very well in it. The Giulio Cesare, excellent ship, but I don't play it much because I don't enjoy it, because I prefer the Congo, I prefer the Agincourt, I prefer is it the Orion, or is it the Iron Duke? The Iron Duke at tier 6. So is it good? Is it worth getting? Not sure. So anyway, so there you go. A bit of a I don't know, it's a bit of a ramble, but for those people that are asking, I mean, I'll try and provide my assessment, but it is my assessment. So, for example, my assessment of the York is the tier 6 German cruiser, is that it's actually okay, but if you've come from the Nuremberg and you're new to the game, the York will absolutely shock the crap out of you. It is a really, really different type of ship, and the change is so jarring that you will struggle. And as a result, you'll hate the ship. And this is one of the ships that I rage sold and either bought back or won. I think I bought this one back in order to prove a point. And actually, the second time round, it's okay. It's not great. It's okay. It's just like the Admiral Hipper. It's okay. So there you go. And what is a good ship does tend to change. The German destroyer line for a long time was the thing. I think now with Pan-Asians, Pan-Europeans, there's a whole, and the British destroyer line, there's a whole lot of choice coming out. And again, people's playing styles, it's starting to dilute. So what that means is that when you've got 3 or 4 destroyer lines, and one of them's a little bit better, it gets a lot of love. When you have 8 or 9 destroyer lines, and a couple of them are a little bit better, the fact that the German destroyer line doesn't get the same amount of love is probably simply the fact that the love is being spread around a little bit wider, so you're just not seeing it as much. Still a good line. You have to be pretty situationally aware, and it does come into its own at tier 6, so don't expect, tiers 1 to 5, like a lot of lines can sometimes be a bit variable. Yeah, anyway, I hope that helps. So really, when will I get back into the game? Probably, I'm just watching the ship lines. French destroyers will probably bring me back pretty quickly. I love Le Terrible. I absolutely love French destroyers. They're like Russian destroyers, but better. That's my perspective. I'm sure when they bring out the tech tree line, it will be different. Just like the London as a heavy cruiser is quite playable, and whatever the heavy cruiser is for Tier 6 in the tech tree line, which I've played so infrequently that I don't remember its name, is pretty lackluster. So there is going to be that danger that the tech tree line is a watered down version of the premiums, because the two premium French destroyers are actually pretty good. Also, I mean, it's good to watch the PC game. I think they've got Italian battleships. It'd be interesting to see what they do, especially if there's some historical ones in there. It would be good to see what else they come out with. So yeah, yeah, gone but not forgotten. I hope this helps. I'll try and pop up some content. I do play the occasional game, but mostly I'm a bit rusty, so it's not stuff that I want to put up on YouTube as an example to do anything other than to say, here's what it looks like when you play when you're a bit rusty. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Bit of a ramble. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.